In this module, we are going to talk about cell referencing. Now, what is cell reference? Now, cell reference basically means whenever you are working on a worksheet, you would refer to certain cells for the value. Whenever you are creating formulas and you want certain cell value to be referred to, then you will use cell referencing. Now, what is cell referencing consisting of? There are two parts to cell referencing. Now, for example, in this cell, I want to refer to rate and quantity because the gross is basically nothing but the product of rate and quantity. Now, this is a small kind of an invoice you might think of where you have this item, you have rate and quantity, and you need to find out the gross. The gross basically means what is the product of rate and quantity. In this cell, I need to type a formula or I need to input the formula. Now, to input the formula where I can multiply these two values, I need to refer to these cells. And that process is basically called as cell referencing. So how do I refer to that cell? So first of all, whenever we write a formula in a cell, we use an equal to sign. So we will put an equal to sign and then we click on this cell. We click on this cell and then we use the multiplication sign and then click on this cell. So now you can clearly see that this formula is referencing two cells and it is multiplying their values. The referencing has two parts. One is the column which is referred to by A, B, C, D, and then the row number which is 13. So the cell references consist of two parts. One is the column name which is depicted by this letter A, B, C, D as you can see here at the top, and the row number. So here C13 and similarly here it is C13. So these two refer to this cell and this is what is called as cell referencing or cell reference. And when I click on the enter, I'll see the values. Now this value is a product of these two values. Hence, we can say that this formula refers to the cell B13 and C13 for its value. Now, having understood that, there are three types of cell referencing which you can do in Excel. The first one is relative, then it is absolute and mixed. By default, we actually use relative referencing, and this is how we actually do relative referencing by using A1. Whenever we use absolute referencing, we'll place a dollar sign in front of the row and the column. Now, what does these suggest? What does this mean? Now, relative reference. In the relative reference, whenever you in this case, when you see we have done relative reference because we haven't written any dollar sign here. So when I change the or copy the formula to the next cell below, then what happens? The formula changes. And since we have dragged it down and down increases the row, but it doesn't change the column, it changes the row. So C13 becomes B14 and C13 becomes C14. So as I am dragging this cell, it is changing the formula accordingly. This is referred to as relative reference. If I want my formula or the cell referencing not to change, like for example, I can put a dollar sign in front of B and 13. I can do that manually by going in front of this B, dollar B, and going in front of this 13 and putting a dollar sign manually. Or what I can do is I can use the shortcut of pressing F4 on your keyboard or in your laptop, maybe some laptops you will find F4 doesn't work, so you might use function plus F4. So in my laptop also I have to use function and F4. So when I'm pressing F function and F4, you see this $B, $13 is automatically done. Here also I'll select this C. Okay, I'll leave this C13 like that, and then I'll say enter. So it says 1200. Now I drop it, drag it down. Now see, my value changes. Why? Because now it refers to B13. That doesn't change. Because of the dollar, this formula doesn't change because it's absolute, it's fixed. So when I drag, it will not change. However, C13 has now changed to C14, and that is the basic difference between your relative referencing and absolute referencing. So basic relative referencing would change as you drag, and absolute referencing will not change when you drag. In case of mixed referencing, I can have one as fixed and the other changing. So here what I've done, I have made B as fixed and this as changing. So what happens when I don't do it here, I'll do in this one. So I'll go here and remove this in front of this. So in that case, what if I drag, it will automatically become B14. So let's see, when I drag this, now it's 4000 because this is clearly going to be B14 into C14. So when I'm dragging it, it is becoming 14. Okay, now suppose if I go here and I remove this dollar from here and then apply it here, what happens? I'm allowing B to become C if I'm moving it towards the right. But now I'm not moving towards the right or the left, but rather I'm moving below. And therefore, when I move below, that 13 should not change to 14 because now I have blocked the row number by putting this dollar. And hence, I am getting 120 into the quantity, which is 4800. So that is what is relative referencing, that is what is absolute referencing, and that is what is mixed referencing.